PKYs. Welcome to the Bookaholic Podcast.
It is wonderful to be here. It is such a privilege to be talking with you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to chat with you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. First of all, you're here because you've written a book. But before we dive into your book, let's talk about your writing process. Now, you have famously said that you have ADHD. And usually, you don't really necessarily think of someone with ADHD being able, not being able, but having the concentration and focus to write a book. So let's
Mhm.
talk about that because mental health is also very important to this channel. So let's talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
how you were able to come up with this wonderful story and harness yourself to sit down and write a book. Tell us a little bit about your ADHD journey.
Thank you. My ADHD actually, but it's a funny but not funny story in a way. I was sitting in the therapist's office with my last of four children, getting them evaluated, who did indeed also have ADHD. And all of a sudden, I had this epiphany of remembering my mom getting really upset with me and frustrated and saying, "I'm not going to help you anymore. You're not paying attention. You're not listening." And I went, "Oh my gosh, I think I have this too." So later in life, as my youngest of four is getting evaluated, I too got evaluated. And that's when I officially got my diagnosis. So previous to
Oh,
that, I just felt I would get anxious, I would be stressed, I would feel overwhelmed. So
mhm.
when I started writing, knowing that I did have this ADHD, I just made sure that I put myself in a situation like a room where it was quiet, where I had space to lay out all of my items. I like to have everything right near me at my touch. For instance, for me, I prefer to have an actual thesaurus in front of me rather than toggle from my writing in front of me to look at a thesaurus online. I just find that to me is very distracting.
Mhm.
So I've been able, I think, fairly well when I tell myself I'm sitting down to write, like this is my writing time, then I'm pretty good because I'm doing what we consider time blocking. In fact, that's
Right.
something that's really helped my daughter greatly. We've been working with her on her executive functioning. And I think that's
Mhm.
probably the biggest issue that I would say I would have right now with my ADHD is time management and executive functioning. So knowing that I am laying aside this time, this is what I am doing. I'm not going to look at any my phone, I'm not going to look at anything distracting. I put on music that I find puts me into the mood, which generally does not have any words in it. I prefer either Celtic or study music or even film music where there's just
Mhm.
film scores without because those words to me are distracting and I don't want to be
Mhm.
pulled out of the experience. So when I do that, I find that I've managed pretty well, which is good.
Wow, those are excellent points of advice for anyone that has to sit down and do some type of concentrated work. Absolutely, I agree with you. I can't do a lot of things if I have music in the background, it cannot have words in it because then I get caught up in the words.
Exactly, it
You
pulls
know?
you out of it, precisely, and what I find fascinating is so much research has been done, but if you actually can listen to some music, binaural beat music is huge for some
Yes.
people. I know my husband does that, but it's especially wonderful with people with a learning difference. ADHD is what I obviously can talk about because there's always that other side of your brain that wants to be stimulated, so listening
Mhm.
to that can actually help increase your focus because that background music that's soothing or that binaural beats without the words in it can help you really direct and keep that part of your brain happy so you can
Right.
focus on the task that you're doing. And I'm so glad you started with this, Deidre, because I'm a huge advocate for learning differences. And there's even a character in my book that I decided needed to be in there because of that. I'm such an advocate. My oldest, who is a successful software engineer at a startup, would not have graduated from high school, let alone a trade school, without the treatment that he has. And he was medication and then working on executive functioning. And once we did that in high school, he just soared. But so important for people to get evaluated. And it especially concerns me for children and adults because it affects your self esteem. When you feel like
Absolutely.
you can't be successful, when you feel like
Absolutely.
if you're a student, especially, and you're trying so hard and you're studying, and then you take a test and you like blank and you can't remember anything or you don't do well on it. And then you just sit there and go, I studied, I know the material. I just can't translate it in a way that the teacher wants me to.
Right.
It feels an awful feeling. So
Yeah.
knowing that we can get evaluated, figure out what you're struggling with, and get help to make you be the best version of yourself is so big for me. It's so important.
Absolutely. I love what you said about your son once he was evaluated, et cetera, then he soared. And let's touch on this just a
Mhm.
little bit to give people this advice that you have to look at your children. You have to watch your children. That's part of
Mhm.
parenting. That's part of, as they used to say, raising your children. You study
Yeah.
your children. And you studied your children without having any type of pride. And I had a situation in our family. This person is long deceased now, but she had a disability in our family. And this particular elder in our family refused to believe it. They refused to believe it, and
Um,
so she never got help, the help that she
yeah.
needed because that person was prideful, said she didn't have any problems, and we think that society is so aware and keen on self-help and self-care, not ever just in case there's still that sliver in society that's
Very
prideful rather
true.
than aware. It's okay to get evaluated because, again, like you said, you saw your son in one version and now he's a software engineer
Oh
at
my
a
gosh.
startup
And would
doing
just had so
what
much confidence, and in a way, it's a perfect profession for him because one thing that oftentimes I know ADHD and attentive type, which is what the type that we have as opposed to hyperactive, there's this
Mhm.
hyper focusing component. And being a software engineer, you're in there coding and it takes a lot of hyper focusing. And so that's actually becomes a superpower. So, in a way, there are some benefits to having a learning
Yeah,
difference. You can turn it into a
yeah,
positive when you learn how to master it. As I would say to my kids, you have
absolutely.
to learn how to master your ADD, not let it master you. So you take charge and
Absolutely.
make it work for you.
Absolutely. Now let's transition to talk about Keepers of the Rock, which is your new book. It came out in February, I believe, of 2025.
Mhm.
And it is am I pronouncing this right? The Debilis Rising?
It's actually Debili. And I'm going to be doing a
Debili.
TikTok and Instagram social media post about this because I know it's an unusual subtitle and you pronounced it the way
Yes.
that most people do. It's actually Latin. It's a Latin word that means feeble or weak. And it's what the
Oh,
heroes in my novel, the keepers, call the evil antagonists. They call them Debili.
oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay. So Keepers of the Rock. So I did a little research and you self-describe yourself as a rock nerd.
Oh, yes. I
He's
love
into
love
geology. Woo!
yes, yes, I love rocks, I love gems and minerals and Pleistocene and Holocene and all the strata of the earth, and yes, I do, and there's a lot of this book is influenced by that. I took a class in college, actually. I
Mhm.
actually at the school that I went to, the liberal arts college I went to, we had to either take a certain amount of math or science credits. And I
Right.
very foolishly, my freshman year, thought, oh, I'll just take this elementary functions math class. That'll be the requirement for math. Day five, I kid you not, Deirdre, day five, I was like, no, it's going too fast. I can't do this. And I checked in with some friends who were taking physical geology, which
Yes.
was lovingly nicknamed Rocks for Jocks. And I loved that class. I loved it. It was fascinating to me, and I learned so much. It was great.
My mind went back in time and I'm like, you know what? That rocks for jocks. I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably what's labeled at most schools as that introductory to geology kind of classes, but it was the best, and I clearly
Yeah.
influenced kept that with me and going.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I see, first of all, the cover is really great. I love that cover. Did you have a hand in deciding the cover or
Yeah, I
definitely approving
did.
it, but did you have a hand in design?
It's actually an interesting story. I had
Tell
a
me a
friend
little bit.
design yeah, I had a friend design my other cover, and I loved it. It was a beautiful art with the background of the school in the background and this landscape and a character kind of standing on a rock who obviously had some kind of ability. But when you miniaturized it down into, let's say, Amazon, when you're looking at the books, it just didn't do the cover justice.
Right.
So we had to change it, and I
Oh,
partnered with Demonza, which is a wonderful company out of New Zealand, actually. And they
oh,
helped me. So I gave them suggestions and then we modeled it together. And I think I love what the finishing product is. And there's
yeah.
elements, very much pun intended, all throughout the book there. So you see that little bird, and that's actually Edgar. And he
Mm-hmm.
is a raven that's made entirely of rare earths, who is a character in the novel.
Oh,
He belongs to the headmistress. He was gifted to the
wow.
headmistress by one of the students, and she has lovingly taken him on. And he wanders around campus, and he's become a bigger character than I expected him to be because he just has a lot of personality. So I had to put him on the cover.
Absolutely. Okay, so now let's dive into the book. And I see that this says book one.
Yes,
So there's other books to come, but we'll get into that after we understand what the first book is about.
sure. So it is a present day urban fantasy. And it is about the oldest existing secret society that exists amongst us, and
Oh,
the members walk amongst us. And they are
ooh,
called the Keepers of the Rock. And their mission is to protect the earth and to protect it from this ancient evil, the Debili, and careless human beings. And they have
mm,
abilities that are drawn directly from the earth. So, like minerals, rocks, geological phenomena, let's say volcanoes and earthquake vibrations. Their other sort of mission is to very covertly guide humanity towards balance, towards making the right decisions. But they do it covertly. They have the assistance of a very small group of human beings called guardians who have
oh,
dedicated their life to helping the keepers and being the conduit or the ombudsman, as you will,
mhm,
between humanity and the keepers. But the keepers have kept their organization secret for thousands of years, and they are intent on doing that ongoing. But this is what they do. And the Debili have the same abilities as the keepers, but the keepers have a very strong moral framework. So they know what their mission is, and they are there to keep this earth safe and protected. And to, if the Debili interact negatively, which they always do, with the human beings, then the keepers are
mm,
allowed to become involved. And they quietly guide humanity.
right,
So keepers will be in science and industry. They will be in offices in the government, helping human beings guide them through scientific discovery, how to better improve,
right,
let's say, early warning systems for volcanoes, because the keepers have a much better, those that have the ability to manipulate lava and
mm,
when a volcano is going to erupt far sooner than human beings can. They certainly can't tell a human being, "Oh, I have this ability that allows me to do this." So they
right.
guide them towards better scientific understanding to help them develop quicker ways of helping people determine when there's going to be a volcano.
Okay,
And
got you.
yeah,
That sounds this is a concept I've never heard of before. I really like where you're going with this series.
very unique and different. And there's a school, they
Yeah.
manage a school called the College of Geoevolution, and it
Okay.
quietly sits nestled right near College of William and Mary and Colonial Williamsburg. So I don't know if you've ever been to Colonial Williamsburg in Williamsburg,
Mm,
Virginia.
I have
So it's
not yet, but
Oh, it's such a great place. So it's right around there. And the College of William
okay.
and Mary is the second oldest college in the country. Harvard is first. That was
Yeah.
1636.
Yes.
And College of William and Mary is 1693. And so my College of
Okay.
Geoevolution is also 1693. So opened up the same time and
Okay.
also
Okay.
was designed by the architect Christopher Wren. Similar to,
Now,
yeah.
is, is this college? It's located near, but does everybody know it exists there?
Oh, no, it's on a
Okay.
farm. It's very secluded. Very few people, only the guardians and the keepers know of its existence. Some of the Beely may know of its existence, but largely they're kept out and kept at bay. And so the students spend 2 years at the College of Geoevolution, and then they actually spend a year in Cambridge University in England getting like a master's degree in their specialized field.
Oh,
So the
wow.
first
I
couple of
love
books I love to bring in science. I bring in history. I actually have footnotes throughout the book. If a
Oh,
person reads, yes, if a person reads the Kindle version, some of them are clickable and we'll take them to websites. Otherwise, you can look it up on Google. I partnered with this wonderful organization called mindat.org, and they are full of rock enthusiasts. So if I mention, let's say, an emerald in the book, then you can look at the
mhm.
mind.org link and it will take you to see what does an emerald look like in the earth before it's been pulled out and
Oh,
faceted and polished and put into a ring or some kind of jewelry. What does it really look like? And I really wanted to do this because this is young adult. It's for, let's say, ages 9 upwards. But I love learning and always learning fun esoteric facts, whether it's history or science or something like that. And so I wanted to be able to put these
mhm.
little links in there so that if somebody's interested in learning more, there's places where they can do that. And it is a school after all. So
Wow. That is
we're learning at a school.
right. That's right. Absolutely. I got a little bit ahead of myself. Why did you want to become a writer?
Oh, I've always wanted to write. As long as I can remember, when I was even in elementary school and we had the ability to, we got that assignment or we got to have creative writing, that was always my favorite thing to do. And then I thankfully got
Mhm.
to take this kitty lit class in my senior year of high school, which was wonderful. And we got to write little stories. I have a special story actually that I may eventually try and publish as well about a little boy who doesn't want to eat his
Mhm.
spinach. And the teacher who read it said, "You know what? This is actually pretty good. You could probably go somewhere with this." And one reason
Wow.
I'm going to mention this one thing, because it actually winds up in the book, I was influenced by Bruno Bettelheim, who wrote
Mhm.
The Uses of Enchantment. And I highly recommend that for anybody who's interested in fairy tales and little nursery rhymes and things like that, because it talks about what they mean, the significance of them, and gets into the psychology of it. And I loved it. And you will see I have a character in the novel who makes up his own little nursery rhymes based on famous ones, but they have very different.
Sweet.
He's in his head a lot, but I brought that up a lot because I
Right.
find it fascinating. So anyway, that's what really started me off. And then, of course, I was influenced
Yes.
by my Rocks for Jocks class. I was very fortunate when I was younger. My dad's job took us over to London. We lived overseas in
Mhm. Oh,
London
wow.
for years, and I went to the American school there. So this novel is international.
Yes.
There are characters from every continent and
Yes.
from all over the world because that is my comfort zone. I love being around different cultures, people from different places, because I feel like we learn so much from other people and their different experiences. And
Absolutely.
It's important to me. So there's
Yes.
that's influence in there. Yeah, that's what sort of really got me into writing. And it's kind of a little funny, quick side story, but my second son, my younger son, when we were in Texas, when I really started
Mhm.
writing this book, had his little rock collection, the proverbial rock collection that you might get when you go to a children's museum or something like that. And my husband and I had a
Yeah.
deal that he would pay the taxes if I would mow the lawn because I didn't want anything to do with the taxes. I already paid the bills and he hated mowing the lawn. So I would go out there every week and mow the lawn. And in the neighborhood where we were in, I would get pinged by these little rocks. And so all these different tendrils of my interests of writing and my son's rock collection and the Rocks for Jocks class was going through my head. And as I would do this every week, these characters just started forming in my mind. And before
Oh,
I knew
wow.
it, I was like, "I need to write this. I need to write these." They seem so alive to me and so vibrant,
Yes.
and I only met them when I was mowing the lawn. I was like, "No, it's time to it's time to create this, make this real."
And are you finished mowing the lawn?
Oh my gosh, we moved to California, and now we don't have much of a lawn.
Yay.
And when we moved, believe it or not, I can't believe it happened, but I was mowing the lawn while the movers were literally packing their stuff up because they told me that I didn't even think about it, but of course you have to take the gasoline out of the lawn mower before you pack it up.
Absolutely.
So I was mowing the lawn to get rid of the gas and it caught on fire.
Oh, no. God.
It was right on the front lawn. Thankfully, put it out, but yeah, that was the end of that. I was like, "Yeah, I
That
don't
was
think
the end of that. Just leave it. Somebody picking it. Oh gosh. Let's talk about your name, EKYs. That is your pen name.
Yes, it
And so
is.
why did you decide to go with a pen name?
I chose when I got married. My name is Alicia Goldenberg, but my middle name is Catherine. And so
Oh,
I chose to call myself EK Goldenberg, Alicia K. Goldenberg.
mhm.
And I kept my maiden name because I knew I wanted to use that for my writing. I
Oh,
wanted it was like in a way to honor my family,
mhm,
and as well as I love the idea that there's just a little bit of separation between me as a person and me as the novelist, because I feel
mhm.
like in a way it gives me a little more freedom. Feels like I can have a little more freedom with my creative expression and just having that. Not that I'm two different people, obviously, I'm the same person,
Right.
but I just and it's shorter.
I get you. I get you 100% because I just started a Substack and I didn't change my name or anything like that, but I thought about which iteration do I want to do of myself because I've got so much different things I want to say on the Substack as opposed to what Bookaholic is or who people
Sure.
may think I am. Yeah, I understand your thought process with the pen name, definitely. Now, so Keepers of the Rock, the Deis Rising, this is only book one. So how many books are in the series?
I'm thinking now between 3 and 4. I'm getting
Okay.
ready to write book 2, so I know where I'm headed, I know what's gonna be happening, and it's interesting, I'm sure other writers have told you this too, but as you write these characters, they surprise you, and you think you're going in one direction, and they tell you, "No, we're doing this, we're going through door number 2." And you think, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." And so that may happen in book 2, I may find other avenues to explore. So we'll see. Book 1 is really setting up the school. We have our new students that are coming in and learning
Mhm.
are and that they have this ability that they've never shared with anybody because they just somehow knew. I don't think I should be telling people that I can do what I can do. It's setting that all up and we're bringing them to Beely. And then the next book, we are doing a deeper dive. Think of like the crust of the earth, and it's gonna really open up and the whole world is gonna expand. There's a lot more going on under the surface, and that's going to be coming to light in book 2. I'm doing it through the character, this younger student's eyes, so that they're seeing this as they're learning about themselves. Because these are all young college students that just getting away from their families and learning who
Right.
they are as individuals. And they've got this very special ability that they haven't been able to share with anybody. And they're finally in this safe space where they can explore who they are and understand I've got this special calling and I'm expected to do something with it. And I'm expecting to help keep this earth turning and help humanity. And oh my gosh, is this something I want to do? And I guess what else am I going to do with my life when I know I'm separate from the rest of society? And here these people are who understand me and embrace me and appreciate me. And so we're now going to open it up next book and explore that further.
Oh, wow. I can't wait. I need a copy of that book so that I can start the series. I love a good series. I definitely do. EK Wise, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you. And folks, we will have the link to Keepers of the Rock in the podcast show notes, as well as in the YouTube video description box. EK, thank you so much.
It was such a pleasure, Deidre. I so appreciate talking with you. And it was so much fun.
Thank you.